The slice will move up and down as I toggle these keys. Again, my options are forward and backward, which in this case are up and down. You can see the outline of the plane defined with the red box. I'm going to lock it into a top-down view in preparation for drawing. It's going to be drawn in the temporary mode. And in the temporary mode, I have a draw curved polyline option. That's not available in the permanent mode. I'm going to tell it to apply the slice. Here you can see that it's taken a clean slice out of the bus. Go into the draw mode. I'm going to start to trace the outline of the bus on the horizontal plane. I'm going to toggle off the point cloud here to inspect my line work, and if I'm happy with it, I'm going to accept it. I'll switch back to the drawing and show some of the lines that I drew ahead of time on the horizontal plane. I'm going to rotate this in 3D so you can get a view of it. And since the plane was defined as a flat plane, my line work is going to come out flat and uniform. Return to the top-down view. Go back, and I'm going to load the vertical slice that I have. Again, it's based on the same interval. I can move it forward and backward on the bus. And the movement is defined by the alignment of the plane. So I'm going to apply the slice here. Again, lock it into a top-down view. My options are to snap on plane or point projected. The points are going to end up on the plane. The point projected option exists if there is no point data available. It will still draw a line on the same plane as if you had on plane selected. Here I'm doing an outline of the lines that are visible. The right side. I go up to the top and capture the top curvature there. Toggle off the point cloud, inspect my line work, and if I'm happy with it, accept it. I put my horizontal and vertical lines on different layers here, so all I've done here is turned on the vertical layer. The line work is drawn in a blue line for the purposes of the demonstration here. Rotated it into 3D so you can see the line work. There you can see what was drawn on the vertical plane. Return back to the point cloud, toggle off the profile slice. Back into the view mode. I'm going to transfer the line work that's on the CAD drawing over. You can see that it's not appearing. Because I have it toggled off for now, I'm going to reload it again here. This toggles the line work visibility from the CAD program onto the point cloud on and off. And you see the outline of the bus there that I've created so far. It needs a bit more work in order to complete it, but you get the idea on how this works. This demonstration will be on the use of the point cloud to produce a 3D scene, and we did some analysis on it as well based on the information that we had and the evidence. I'm going to pan around the point cloud here to show you a 3D view of it. Reload it to get a different view. Sharpen up some of the detail. So we have a police vehicle and a suspect vehicle in the scene, and some other vehicles parked on the exterior that are not part of the crime scene. You can see there are some trajectory rods that are extending out of the back of the red vehicle. Here's some photographs to show you the scene. The vehicles have been removed. This is just to compare the scene to the photos when we complete it. And again, as I said earlier, most crime scenes are a 2D bird's eye or top-down view. This shows the vehicles at their position, some trajectory lines that were extended out, evidence markers, evidence, which is a blood trail and a blood pool, and the outline of the building itself. We took this one a step further and created a 3D drawing. So the planes that I created to help me draw are a ground plane for the parking lot itself. And again, this is so I could snap all of my line work on the parking lot down onto a flat plane. The walls had a lot of detail, but all I need is an outline of the walls to produce a fair and accurate representation of the scene. What I did is I used a reference plane here to attach to the wall, and it made drawing the windows and the awnings, as well as the other detail on the wall, easier. I can turn on a show solid, which will put an orange color to the grid, and at this point that's the only color available. But it allows me to check my plane to make sure that I'm aligned properly, and you can see here that it is aligned pretty good to the face of that building. And I had a wall in the back. Again, turn the solid on, visualize to see that it is aligned properly to the wall plane. I'm going to show you a unique feature in the software. Much like the profile slice, this is a cutting cube. I can build a cube around an entity here, and in this case here I want to isolate the Ford vehicle and the Toyota to be able to draw the trajectory rods that were mapped. Here's my view of the Ford vehicle. Again, I can enlarge the box side to side, up and down, or front to rear. I can use the gizmos there to rotate it and also to realign it. And apply the cutting cube, and you can see that we've isolated just the police vehicle. The type of snapping that I'm going to use when I draw is going to be a point only. Again, I want to be able to draw the trajectory rods that are coming out of the window. And you can see with the vehicle isolated how much easier it is to view the data. Go into my draw mode, and I'm drawing just a 2-point line here. Zoom in as close as I can and get to that portion of the rod that is clearly visible. Here's the second rod. The third one is a bit hard to see, but if I rotate the drawing around, go into the view mode, you see that I can see the top of the rod from this view here, and I'm able to complete the 3 segments there. Okay. Inspect my work to make sure they're lined up properly, and if they're not, I can delete the line work, redraw them in, and if I'm happy, I can accept it. I'm going to apply the same principle here to the Toyota. Apply a cutting cube and capture the 2 trajectory rods that were coming out of the back. Again, I want to be on a point only snap so that my line work snaps to a point. In this case here, I had the 2 rods that were coming out of the back window. Access my point line. Inspect the work. If I'm happy, I'll accept it. And I've expedited the process a bit when we return to the scene here. What I've taken is the rods that were drawn in and extended them. So again, we had the 2 short rods that were in there. Just used one of the features of the software to extend that line. Edit the length. We're going to get a 3D view here of the scene with the walls that are drawn in and the surfaces that are applied. We're going to go to our 3D viewer here and inspect the data. Rotate the scene around, make sure everything's where it should be. Take a look underneath and make sure that the tires are on the road surface here, which they are. compare the scene to the photographs to make sure that everything lines up properly. At this point here, we'll open up the PointCloud and do a final check to make sure that our evidence lines up properly. The vehicles are where they should be. I'm going to load the drawing into the PointCloud. The police vehicle and the Toyota that we have here are symbols that came from an outside source. The Crown Vic fits very well. It was, I believe, the exact make and model. Some modifications were made to the light bar. The Toyota Camry, I don't believe was the exact year of vehicle, but it lines up fairly well. We're able to scale it to the size that we had, the dimensions that came from the PointCloud. And for the purposes of the illustration, it works quite well. The scenario here is that the officer stopped this vehicle. The driver of the vehicle exited and fired at least 3 shots towards the officer, which hit the windshield. The officer was able to exit his vehicle and return fire. Fired several rounds, 2 of which hit the back window of the vehicle. And judging from the blood trail, we know that the officer hit the suspect. Suspect, I believe, fired some additional rounds as he was fleeing. You have the trail of blood and then the pool of blood where the suspect eventually came to rest. I'm going to toggle off my PointCloud data and look at just the drawing rendered without the PointCloud. Let me close in saying that if you need a basic drawing program, animation program to capture data with a total station, or you're using PointCloud data, the MapScenes will take you from start to finish with one software package.